And today's topic is formatting elements. Formatting elements. So using elements designed to display special type of text. So formatting elements are designed to display special type of text. Special type of text means, suppose if you want to display bold text, bold type text, so we can use B element to display bold text, and for deleted text we can use DL element to display deleted text type, and subscript to subscript. For subscript we have to use sub tag, and superscript we can use sup element, and for marked text we can use mark element, and for italic type text format you can use I element to display italic text type. So for example, I will show an example. So adding one HTML form, formats.html, so in this example I want to display some bold type text, like so I have one paragraph. This is sample paragraph. So in this paragraph I want to display some particular word, sample word, in bold text. So we can use B element at the starting of word and at the end of the word. So place sample word in B element, starting B element and ending B element. So bold text. So run this example. So see here, okay, this is sample bold text. Same like for italic text also, another paragraph. So I want to display some line in italic text, okay, paragraph. So this part I want to display italic font style. So use I element, and run this example. Okay, this is italic text type. And another element, small element also is there. Small, to display small text, use small element. Use h1 element. This is HTML class. So you can display this HTML word in small text type. Use small element to display small text and refresh this page. Small text. So this is little bit small text. Okay, HTML. And to display deleted text type, deleted text format. Okay, use DL element. DL element to display deleted text format. So in HTML documents, so we can display this type of text formats. So okay, bold, italic, okay, small, deleted text, and superscript to subscripts. And to display like squares, like a 10 square or 2 square, 3 square, like in the text types, you use sub element to display subscript. uh, so to display 10 square or 10 cube, use sub element and 2. Okay, so to display this type of text formats, use a superscript or subscript. Subscript display in the bottom of text. Sub, okay, subscript element, so cube. Okay, this is the subscript type and this is the superscript type, and deleted text format and small text, bold text. And another one is strong element also is there. Strong element and B element are same. Okay, both are same. Strong, both are display text in bold style. Okay, we can use strong element to display bold. Okay, sample text. So strong element also display text in bold format. Okay, so you can use any one, bold B element or strong element. So these are the text formats available in HTML. So to display bold text format, use B element, and to italic text, use I element, and small element and deleted text type, and superscript and subscript formats. And another element is mark element. Suppose if you want to highlight any word in paragraph, use mark element. So I want to display this paragraph, okay, and I want to highlight this particular area. Okay, use mark element. So mark element, highlight this particular area. Okay, so use mark element to highlight the word or paragraph. And these are the text formats. And next concept is comments in HTML. So comments are used to insert comments in the source code. Use it to insert comments in our HTML code or source code, or HTML code. Suppose if you don't want to execute some particular block of code, you can put comments for the elements, and comments are used to explain our code, our HTML code. And one more point is, if you don't want to execute some block of code, you can put that code in comments. In future, if you want to use that particular code, you can remove the comments. A simple example for comments. So one HTML document name is comments.html. Suppose one image element, source, and penguins.jpg, and width 200 pixels, and height also 200 pixels. And another one more attribute is must and should we have to use ALT, alternate text. Penguins. So if you don't have image to display, so this text will display in that particular image element. and one more paragraph. This is sample paragraph, and one more paragraph. Okay, so I want to explain this code. So you can use comment symbol. The syntax is less than and not symbol, hyphen hyphen, the starting element for comments, start element, and end element is hyphen hyphen and greater than. So this is the syntax for comment elements. You can write your comment in between these two tags. So I want to explain this code. Okay, below image is display penguins. Okay, penguins. So like this we can explain our code. In real time also, merchant should we have to explain our code. Okay, these paragraphs are display some content. Okay, content. So if you run this example, the comments are not display in browser. The comments are not displayed in the browser. So go to inspect element and check here. Okay, comments in green text style. Okay, comments are not executed. Only these HTML elements are executing and comments are not executed. And suppose I don't want to display these 4 paragraphs. So for this I can put these paragraphs in comment. Okay, for all these paragraphs this is the starting comment and here end comment symbol. So now these paragraphs are not displayed in browser. Okay, only image is displaying. Okay, so if you don't want to use some block of code, you can put that code in comments, or if you want to use this block of code you can remove these comments. Okay, so that you can execute these paragraphs also. And this is the comments, and next one is list. HTML list elements. HTML list elements. List elements are used to display uh, list of items. List elements are display. List elements are used to display list items. Suppose I want to display some uh, names, so particular names in list format, uh, like one Prasad and second Naveen. Okay, third name is Harsha. Fourth name is Satish. So like this, I want to display some list of names. So you can use two types of list elements. Two types of list elements to display list items. First one is order list. Order list. So this order list specifies OL element. OL element. So this order list typically a numbered list of items. A type attribute can be added to an order list. So this order list is a number list items, and we can use type attribute type attribute type attribute to this order list. Use OL element to define the order list. Okay, the syntax is to display list items based using OL element. So OL starting element and ending element. In between these two, we have to mention list items. So use li element to display list items. Okay, same names Prasad, so okay, these names are displayed as list items. So for this I will show an example for order list. Adding one HTML document, order list .html form. Okay, so displaying list of names. So for heading, list of names heading, and after that use OL element li. So you can copy this and paste here. And one more attribute is we can use type attribute. So type attribute to display list items. Type attribute specifies accept type attribute accept numeric values and alphanumeric values and Roman values. Okay, numeric values is 1 1 to any number, and a caps letters A or small letters A to Z, and all lower Roman and upper Roman numbers, upper Roman values. Okay, so for this example, run just running, only numbers are displaying. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5. So without using, okay, type attribute. So for order list, default type attribute takes, okay, numbers. Suppose I want to display, okay, alphanumeric, use type attribute equal to caps A. Okay, A B C D. So up to how many list of items is there, so it will display like that. And you can specify small letters also. You can define small letters, and we can define lower Roman and upper Roman values also. Okay, lower Roman values and upper Roman values. Okay, this is the 4 types available to display list items using order list. Okay, you can display number of list items. Okay, so how many items you want, you can display. So okay, the numbers also automatically. Okay, and next one is order list, unorder list. Unorder list. So unorder list start with the ul tag, ul start with ul tag and end with ul, and each list item start with li element. Use li element to define list items. For another list, we have to use list style type attribute to display list item styles. Use list style type style css property to display list style types. Okay, list style types. So for this, use style attribute to define list style type property. To define list style type property. The syntax is use EL element and starting tag and end tag and same list items, and use style attribute in the starting element of another list style type. Okay, this is the CSS property to display list style types. So this list style types accept four formats. First one is disk, and the second one is circle, and the third one is square, and the fourth one is non-style. So I will show an example for another list. The list.html form. H1 list of names using unordered list element. Okay, you can copy this and paste here. And list style type says, so here circle and decimal, disk, okay, and nano, square, upper alpha, so upper Roman. Suppose I want to display disk style type, okay, for list items. So run this example. So this is the disk style type, and for circle use circle value, okay, and this is the circle type to display list items. And another one is square, and for square list style type is square boxes is there. And finally list style type none. So if you define this none value, so there is no list style types for list of items, only items are displaying and there is no style. So these are the four important values for unordered list. For ordered list, numeric and numeric values, alphanumeric values, okay, upper Roman and lower Roman values. And this is the list elements in HTML. And next one is table element, okay, table in HTML table element. So table element are used to display data in table format, okay, in table format. So table element defined with table element defined with table HTML element, and this is the starting element for table element, and table is the ending element, and end tag. And this table are divided with rows and columns. Table are divided with rows and columns. For example, if you want to display table format data, use table element, okay, table element. In this table element, tr is the row and tr is the row and td is the column. Okay, so first row, first column, and another one is second column. First row, second column, and this is third column and fourth column. So like this we have to define, and for another row, define another row. Okay, two rows and with four columns, four columns. So for this we will do an example. Table dot html. One second. Hello. Yes. Yes. Okay, for table, define table element and row, first row with 4 columns, or how many you want you can add. Okay, 4 columns, and the second row also 4 columns. So this is the table element, and in this table element divided with rows and columns, and here 2 rows, and first row 4 columns, and the second row also 4 columns. So in first row, okay, first name. So suppose we want to display table format data, and email, and phone number. Okay, here you can write employee names, first name and last name. Again, name, email vikas@gmail.com, and phone number, some example phone number. So if you run this example, you will get table format data. So you can add border styles using CSS. Style, border collapse, and table TRTD, border 1 pixel border, and solid and black border. Okay, black color border. So okay, this is the table format. So we have to write some CSS property, CSS styles to display borders. So without CSS we can't display border styles. So like this you can display number of rows. Okay, so this is the table element. This table element are divided with rows and columns. And next one is HTML controls. HTML controls. HTML controls like HTML controls like a button control. Okay, first one is controls are used to design the web form. So first one is buttons, button controls in HTML. So using HTML buttons we can submit data to the server. So for this real-time example, In Google registration form, okay, in Google registration form, so we have to enter all these values: first name, last name, okay, email and password and gender, date of birth. So all these fields we have to enter. After that, we have to click on next step button. So this button submit this data to the Google server. Okay, so use these buttons to display and to submit the data to the server. So we can define buttons in two ways. Syntax: in two ways we can define buttons. Button element also we can use button element, okay, save button, or you can use input element also. Input element also button, type button, and value equal to save button text, and end of the input tag. So for example, HTML controls form name not HTML. So I want to display some particular button by using these two ways. Use button element, okay, submit data, or use input type equal to button, or one more option is submit. Okay, you can use submit or button, anyone, and value is next step. Okay, next step value, the text of the button, and close button input element. So if you run this example, so submit data button and the next step button is there. So if you click on these two buttons, okay, so in real time we have to design forms like this like this, and submit the data to the server. And another control is text box control. So these buttons are used to perform uh, user actions, and this text box are used to enter input data. Okay, input data. So the user can enter data. So for this, in Google registration form, so first name is the text box and last name is text box, and username and password, confirm password, okay, and current email address. So all these are text boxes. So in these text boxes user can enter, okay, data. User can enter data and submit the data to the server using button. So for this syntax buttons, use input type equal to text and close tag. You can use placeholder attribute. Okay, first name. For this placeholder, so here displaying first and last in text boxes. So this is the placeholder text. So use placeholder to display identification of text box. So what we can enter in the text box. Input type equal to text and placeholder. Okay, first name and close. So run this example. So text box is displayed with the placeholder text. So you can enter, user can enter the data in the text box. And one more control is file upload control. File upload control. So this file upload control used to upload files to the server, or you can send files to anyone. File upload control used to upload files into the server. So for example, in Gmail compose box, okay, in Gmail compose box there is a attachment, okay, attach files option. So this is the file upload control. Okay, so using this file upload control we can upload the files into the server. So for this, use type equal to file. Input type equal to file. And close tag and refresh this example. So file upload control is displayed like this. So use break element to display in new line. So when you click on this choose file button, so it will open the open dialog box and you can select the files, okay, and submit data to the server. So we have to write the server side code to store the file in server. So developers can handle this. So you developer can only design the file upload controls. So developer write the backend code to save that file in server. And next control is text area. This text area control use it to enter multi-line text. Okay, multi-line text. And text area can hold unlimited number of characters. Limited number of characters. So for this syntax is use text area element to display text area control. So using text area control we can enter multi-line text. Using text box we can enter only single line. Okay, single line text. So for multi-line text use text area text area control. So you can enter multi-lines. So and you can resize the text this text area also. Okay, so for this real-time example in text box compose box, so body content. Okay, here you can write number of lines of body message. And for this text area we can define how many number of columns to display and how many number of rows also. Okay, columns and rows. Okay, this is the columns width and rows width. So using rows and columns to define the height and width of text area, or use height width elements also, height width attributes. So columns width is 100 columns and rows also 80 columns. Okay, this is the text area. Okay, 100 columns and 80 rows text box. And next control is drop down list. The select element are used to create drop down list. Select element used to create drop down list. So using drop down list we can select only one option from number of options. Okay, we can select only one option. So for this, use select element and option. For options is like city names, HYD, and another option is okay, Bangalore, and Chennai, and Pune. Okay, and option. Okay, and okay, Mumbai. So these are the city names. So we can select only one city name from list of cities. And first option is select city. So refresh this form. So you can get the drop down list. So you can select only one option from this list of items. Okay, this number of options, you can select only one option. So for this real-time example, so see here, for birthday, months is there, January, February, okay, March, April, May. So like this. So this is the drop down list. You can select only one option. Okay, only one month name only. And gender also same. You can select only female or male or other. So this is the real-time example. And the next one is radio buttons. Yeah, radio button. So this radio button also same. You can select only one option from number of choices. You can select only one option from list of options. So for this, use input and type equal to radio and name is months. Okay, date of birth. Or you can use for gender. Okay, gender value is male, female, and other. Okay, you can select only one option from these three options. female and other. So you can select only one option from these three options. So using radio button also you can select only one option, but the main difference between this drop down list and radio button list, so radio button list occupy the space, okay, too much space in the web document, but a drop down list never occupy the space. Okay,